Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
The second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Gordon with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, September 18th, 2023. What's going on? It's Turn 2 Terribles here. We got a couple things to talk about this week. We got the Selinsgrove National Open, the Williams-Grove Kimmel Memorial, the Monteith Classic at Lincoln. We also got a date for the rescheduled Tuscarora 50. We'll definitely talk about that because there's some real smart ones on the internet talking about that. And whatever else you guys want to hear, make sure you put it in the chat. Whatever you guys want to hear us talk about, whatever your opinions you guys got, we love to hear it. It definitely keeps the conversation going. And, you know, we want to hear what you guys have to think. We want to hear We want to hear what you guys think. So, gentlemen, how's it going?
What's going on, buddy? Good to see everybody. It's nice to be back here. Missed last week, and we haven't been as consistent on the schedule, but you know, we'd rather be at the races and worn out from racing. So we've accomplished many of those goals this year for sure. You know, good weekend, short weekend for me. I only got the one race. Had some things here at home, and it's getting to that time of the season while we have some big races left. It's winding down quickly, and it's depressing. What's going on, Braden? Gary, welcome.
Chris, how are you?
I'm tired, but yeah, one race for me this weekend. I'm trying. One Williams Grove race for me this weekend. It's kind of like Jeremy. It's getting sad, but exciting at the same time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. You know, it's like we've had so many big races this year, and the payouts have been so good, and there's been so many good events. It's hard to think like could PA stand to have just big events and skip, you know, half the just normal weekly things? It makes you really, and that's been a big topic, right? You got to do something to get the fans in the stands, and these big shows do that. But these weekly regular shows have been lacking. It's a challenge that's going to have to be solved sooner than later for these local tracks. But we know that there's some big ones left. Very few just normal, regular, run-of-the-mill races left, and I'm excited for all of them.
Yeah, the seasons are winding down. Points championships are starting to be clinched. most of the tracks around here have 2, maybe 3 races left. So, if you have a opportunity to get to the track, make sure you do. And we got some really good ones to look forward to here in the next couple weeks as the season winds down. Well, let's start with last Friday, the Kimmel Memorial at Williams Grove. Chris, you were there. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a big event. I know a lot of guys. It's a special event with Billy Kimmel Memorial. It was cool having them with their tent and the car in the infield, and really paying respects to Billy and what he did for the sport. The racing was the match race for 358s as well. Those heats were a little spicy in the start. I mean, I watched Nash Ely. I'm pretty sure tail drag off of turn 2 on the start of his heat race. That was wild. Troy Wagaman Jr. gets the win, or Craig, depending if you ask Bruce. Justin Peck probably had that race in control, and then had a tire go down, and Troy, took it to Lance, and Darren Pittman ran really strong too. It's a cool podium, and really excited for Troy. I don't know if you get to watch anything.
Well, a little bit. Heard a lot of after the race was over, and kind of the way the race went, and who ended up on the podium, and how that went down. Obviously, super pumped for Troy. But does Justin Peck have the worst luck in sprint car racing this year?
I think so.
I mean,
think so.
Pretty close, yeah.
I can't say I'm like a huge Peck fan. I don't dislike Justin Peck. Drives his ass off, super talented, but that guy should have 10 wins this year. Like, legitimately, I'm just throwing that number out there, but it feels like there's been that many wins in his grasp, in his control, and something has happened. And it sucks for them because they put together a very aggressive plan for this season, and after coming off of last season was pretty darn successful for them. It sucks for them to run all those races and have that much bad luck, just repeatedly. And you think, like, at some point it always breaks. It always breaks. It hasn't for him.
It's just gotten worse and worse. Like,
it's
back to
gotten
Knoxville.
worse. And listen, I'm super pumped. Friend of ours, Troy, won that race, and another win at Williams Grove for him. I'm super pumped for him, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, that sucks.
I think that was the coolest podium I've seen all year. That was just you had Troy, and then you had Lance in the 39, and then you had Pittman in the 69K.
And I mean, and Pittman, first night in the car, he looked like he hasn't missed a beat from.
I mean, he's good at Williams Grove.
That's true. He's kind of good.
Yeah. I bet that's why he's in that car, huh?
It's kind of like why we want him there, and this other guy wanted not him, whatever.
Listen, I never said I didn't want him. I just said there was another guy too that was an option. That's all.
No, you said it was a better option. Tell the truth.
They're pretty close, but I still think Shane Stewart's a great option.
It was not a bad option, no. I think Pittman, just with his history at Williams Grove and his performances at Williams Grove, wanting that National Open so bad, I mean, I could make the argument this is his absolute best opportunity, even without running many races.
After seeing last Friday,
like, best equipment. It's equipment that knows how to get around the racetrack, around this racetrack. And he's been in good cars in the past. Don't get me wrong. He was a World Outlaw, like full-time outlaw, was in a good equipment and had good runs. Is it his best shot? He's fresh.
It might be.
It might be one of his best shots since he drove the Hefner or the 27 car here full-time. And he finished second that year.
We get to National Open time. It's about time trials. So you'll know pretty quickly that evening what are his chances really like after time trials. So with a field like they're going to have, and we know how hard it is to pass, you need to be starting in the top 5 of that race. For the most part. I mean, your odds dramatically drop off if you don't start in the top 5 of that race, even though it's a long race.
My question is, how big would it be of I guess a fan favorite win if he were to win? I'd be pretty pumped for him.
I don't think there'll be anybody upset about it unless you're like a Danny or Freddie diehard. You know what I mean?
There would be some diehards for sure that wouldn't be thrilled, but I think it would be a popular win. I think it would be a win that there would be very few people would truly dislike.
Yeah.
Would it be more popular National Open win for one of our local, true local guys to win it? Yeah, for sure. But I don't think there would be very many people in that, other than the competitors against him, that are going to be that upset about it.
Some other guys to note from this race: Cam Smith, who left the Trone 39, was in the 69, ran 6th, looked pretty good. I think he was up to almost like 4th or 5th at one point. He looked good. Dylan Norris ran 4th. Danny Dietrich ran 5th. Chase Dietz with a top 10. 25 cars there. There's, and you could tell we're starting to get closer here to National Open here. The guys are really, there's all these time trial shows. Everybody's tuning up. So awesome win for Troy. I was jacked up for it. It was great.
Yeah, he either wasn't able to see another one, but I'm very lucky I got to see one this year. His last one at Williams Grove. Disappointed for sure not to be there. Big Troy fan, love that guy, love that kid. So super happy with that, with the way that's going for him in that 27 car, and maybe a little birdie said in 2024 everything stays the same. So maybe we see
That would
him.
be awesome.
So we'll see. I mean, time will tell here, but from all things that I've heard, they're pretty energized to be racing a lot again. So that can only be a good thing when that 27 car is on the racetrack every weekend.
Absolutely.
And
great. I'm gonna address this super quick. Almost like you said, why Lernerville's better because of AJ Flick. Let's just get that straight. It's not because it's a better racetrack. It's better because AJ Flick starts 13th every week. Moving on.
And AJ Flick's a good guy.
Anything else from this?
I was just gonna say, Braden picking Troy win the National Open. I think use this race as a.
We're gonna get to that. We'll get to our picks.
Okay.
Chris, who won the 358 feature?
Chad Criswell.
Chad Criswell. I did not see any of that. So
I did not either.
Lead from the green. Do we know how'd that race run down?
I had to take the kid home.
Chris Frank 4th. Cody Hartlov 5th.
Chris Frank, I think, started the pole.
Cars for sure.
Chris Frank, I think, led some of it and then fell back. But
that's a big
I did not.
Really,
honestly, I didn't watch it.
He's definitely ran up front some this year and didn't get the job done or finish it off. So definitely good to see him get a win. And it was good money. It was what 20.
Yeah, it was like $2,600 or $2,800 match race. A lot of money up for grabs for the 358s, which is good to see. It was like, what was it, like 500 or 600 to start or something like that, or it might even be more.
Like 725, I think it was.
Yeah, I think you're right. So it was good paying throughout the field. So that was a good event for them. So everybody kind of, in a way, won there a little bit instead of getting paid in a bag of peanuts for starting the race. They got a little bit more. They got at least cover their tires.
Those features, that's cool winners. I mean, that's a cool victory lane. It's not the normal. And again, it's okay with normal. I'm not bashing normal and someone who dominates, but at the same time, it's pretty cool. Troy Wagaman and Chad Criswell and Victor Lane Williams Grove on a Friday night. So cool deal for sure.
I believe Derek Locke missed the feature.
Yeah, him and Wyatt Hinkle, and I thought did Wyatt Hinkle crash in the heat races or something?
I believe so. Yeah, there was a red. It was a red and it started to one heat.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Nat Tucky way up in the air. I texted him. He said he was okay, but looked like big junk there. And I saw Wyatt Hinkle in the picture of that one. So I don't know if that was in the same heat in the same one or.
Turn 3 coming at turn 2. Turn 3 Racing Network. Turn 2 terribles really are terrible. I mean, who does y'all's wardrobe?
And I don't know what Chris is doing there tonight, but it looks like he's going to Christmas dinner or something.
It's called wake up from nap and just show up.
So yeah, I guess next week is the Outlaw Tune up there. We'll get into probably later talking about who are we looking at going into these big races here. We'll talk about that a little bit later as we're previewing the upcoming races. But yeah, good. I watched from home. It was an awesome race. It was just awesome to see Troy win. I love that podium in general. It was great. So
there was a cool picture of those three standing together too in the pits after the race. I was like, I had to look at it. I was like, wow, that's Darren Pittman, and Lance Deweese talking to Troy Walkerman. That's pretty cool. I mean, Troy gets to be around those guys every week, but it still probably had to be cool for him to have those guys in his trailer talking to him about a win at Williams Grove. Like,
Right.
talk about
And
like being like you're there, like you not made it, like you made it, like you know what I mean.
And those are 3 huge cars, iconically here in Pennsylvania. Maybe not so much the 39M, maybe that's more recent, but especially the 27 and the 69K, and they all had different different drivers at the beginning of the season, and it just Lance is in the podium and 69K is in the podium, but he's not in the, it's still weird to me. But it was just cool. It's very, very surreal. So yeah, we'll move on from that. Let's go to Saturday. We'll start with Lincoln. I don't think any of us were at Lincoln. Monteith Classic. Who won? Do we even have to ask anymore?
I don't know if they even raced it. Did he just do a victory lane with Freddie in it? Did they race?
I mean, why waste the tires and everything if that's what's just going to end up happening?
I did see he held off Tyler Ross on a late restart. But Freddie gets his 345th win this year at Lincoln. So
14th, yes.
And he also clinched the title, officially. But she was going to probably anyway, but officially did it after Saturday night.
Freddie's 14th win of the season.
That's pretty cool. I mean, honestly,
38th of his career.
Talked about it so many times that it's a season to remember for sure for him. And when we had him on the podcast, if anybody wants to go back and find our show with Freddie and talking about. We talked to him early in the season, and was he even going yet? No, we got hooked up with him at the dirt track extravaganza.
Yeah,
right.
Yep.
And he was supposed to be on, and the icebreaker moved up. We had to delay it a week.
So we talked to him, and he said, "Listen, they put a lot of work in their time trial program, and being good throughout the night. And I think the time trials have been better, especially at Lincoln, and those shows have set him up more nights than not to be near the front starting. And then the nights when they do the regular handicapping, it doesn't really matter. He starts the back of the heat, and then to get into the redraw, to just start at the back of the handicap again. So just a dominating season all around. Don't care who is or isn't there. They all tie their shoes the same. They all put their fire suits on and put their helmets on. So 14 wins is no joke in Central PA at any track.
Absolutely. There's 27 cars there too, so it wasn't like, there was nobody there or anything like that. So Freddie beats whoever comes in there, no matter what the competition is. He's been competitive no matter what. He was competitive against the Outlaws. He, throughout the entire season.
He won a 2-week show. He beat Brent, and Brent was second the other. What was that during the Dirt Classic? Did he win the Classic? No,
yeah,
he won the opening night of the Classic.
Opening night, right, with that field. So, the whole idea of, the competition, he's been good against them too. To say you're just going to sweep an entire – that's what the Freddie haters will say. Well, he didn't win that race. He didn't win that race. No one sweeps a whole season, okay? You're not Derek Love winning the 358. Stop. 410s at anywhere. You don't do it. I don't care who you are. His dad never did it. Steve Smith never did it. Doesn't matter. In an era of competition the way it is today, closer and better than ever, this is a phenomenal season.
And at a track like Lincoln that runs 800 times a year. I mean, they're nonstop from February until the end of this month.
More? 2 more?
I think they got 2.
Just the Sterner or 2 more?
Sterner's the 14th. I think did they race this week?
I thought they had a race in.
They're not racing this week. Baps is Saturday.
That's right.
Right.
They didn't schedule over them.
And then they don't have a race, obviously, for National Open Saturday.
Right. So I think they just have the Sterner then.
And then
I think maybe just that, yeah. Because I think 358 said they only have 1 show left there. And it might be a 358 only show. Potentially.
Yeah, because the next 3 weeks you got Baps and you got National Open, and then you got Port with the Outlaws. So, which we'll go into go-karts this weekend. There it says Nick Lowe.
So what's that mean? Go-karts.
That's where it's going to be at Lincoln. Go-karts.
Oh, they have that go-kart thing. That's right. I'm not going to that. Okay, cool. So, and then 358 we're also at Lincoln, right?
Cody Hartlob.
Yep.
Cody, my boy, gets it done again. Gets lead from Frankie Herr, I think I saw in the rundown.
Yep.
Cody came from 7th, 8th, maybe.
Somewhere back there.
About the normal. And look good. So.
And on Kyle Spence, 3rd.
Did Cody clinch the title for that as well?
I don't know that answer.
I'm gonna look that up.
Doesn't say anything about it. So
If not, he's probably damn close.
Well, Rumsey was there, and he's been on his heels, the last 5-6 races there, and I'm not sure. Okay, he just has to start, so he's yeah. So
There we
show
go.
up. And
Thank
get
you,
the
Aunt
first. Thank you, Aunt. You know what? We can always count on that guy. We can always count on him. He's our crew chief extraordinaire.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna get into now. Selinsgrove on Saturday. That's where me and Jay-Z were.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lincoln is on my shit list yet again.
Uh-oh.
Because
Okay.
these assholes, for the first time all year, done by like 9:20 and home and gone. And I'm sitting at Selinsgrove till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Partly my own doing, but partly not. There were some other outside factors we'll get into. But of course, the week I don't go to Lincoln, these assholes are in bed sleeping by the time I was even leaving Selinsgrove. But shout out to them for getting a clean show in and getting everybody home. So shout out to those guys for sure.
Yeah.
So good job, Lincoln. You got it done. At least 1 or 2 shows this year at a reasonable time. So goal sort of accomplished.
Yeah. Good for them. They started an hour earlier too. So yeah, let's
6.
I guess so.
Yeah.
They would have to if they were done by 9.
I mean, I heard their feature.
They had
lines
27. I think they had 27 410s and like 29 358. So you had B mains for both. So good for them. They got the
6 o'clock start.
Really
interesting.
Time
trials are at 6.
So okay, you were still there. Okay, got it. All right,
so
Selinsgrove. Let's go.
Selinsgrove was the opposite side of the coin. We had to delay almost probably really over an hour. Unfortunately, there was a fatal accident on 11:15 near Liverpool that put a ton of people, including race teams and obviously fans, in standstill traffic. So Selinsgrove did the right thing. They got on the phone with some of these teams. They got them registered.
They pulled
got them all that, and they pushed everything back and held up until everybody could get there. They were ready to push off. It was after 7 o'clock. We're pushing off for hot laps, and the cars that just pulled in were pushing off for motor heat as they were trying to push off for hot laps as well, because there were still haulers rolling in after 7 o'clock. That's how bad the traffic was. Unfortunately, rest in peace to it sounded like a pedestrian was struck on the side of or was trying to cross the road and got struck, and it tied up traffic both ways basically. So. That's a good point, Amanda. Just think if late models ran at Selinsgrove, that was the original plan. We're going to get into that here. So there were still 3 divisions. You had 410s, obviously, for their $26,000 to win. Gymnase Memorial National Open. You also had the past 305s. And then you had Roadrunners. Roadrunners had 16 cars or something like that. They didn't run any heats. Or they did. They ran heats. Sorry.
No, they did not. They didn't run a heat. They ran a group time trial and then
that's
a feature.
Right. Yeah. 305s had like 36 cars there, and then there were 26 410s. And they started everybody, which was awesome. Didn't have to mess around with the B main, luckily.
Well, they had a B main lined up and they scratched it and said we're gonna run it. And I was like, thank God. Like, let's not do this to send a couple cars home.
Yeah, we weren't doing opening ceremonies after time trials and hot laps and everything until it was after 8 o'clock, almost 8:30, I would say. So that whole, everything got delayed, but luckily it was a beautiful night. It's their biggest race of the year. They did the right thing by holding it up. I think it just sucked to be there till so late, but awesome racing though. The track was fast. It was pretty, I don't want to say locked down, but it was very tacky, obviously, and they were having some issues. It seemed like on the backstretch with a little bit of moisture on the backstretch, so they couldn't get run in during hot laps. But so there's a couple of times where they did some track prep, but I thought they kept the show moving the best that they could while also giving the best possible show with the best track that they could. And it was awesome. The track was real fast. Not a ton of passing, obviously, in the heat races, but there was some. They did the Speed Week format. Justin Peck ends up starting on the pole of the 44 lap feature, which they split into 2. They had Jay-Z, you said there's a really gnarly curb, like cushion formed in 1. They end up knocking that down, and I think that was actually probably a really good thing because it really widened 1 and 2 out for the feature.
It was really freaking fast is the only words I have for that whole thing. Like, obviously I had my camera and I'm trying to take pictures, and they were going so fast into 1 that I was like, I couldn't turn fast enough the first time I walked down to 1 was for the heat races, and they went into 1. It felt like 3,000 miles per hour, and I was like, oh, like it took me a minute to catch up. They were just ripping. It was pretty cool. Like, we've seen that place this year in a couple different versions of it. And usually with 410s, it's dusty at the beginning, slow, and it builds a curve, and they're ripping pretty good. But man, were they freaking fast in those heats! And honestly, I don't know if there was a car passed in a heat, so it didn't bode well for good competition in the heat races. But the feature definitely ended up wide enough to have guys run top and bottom.
Yeah. Brent missed the redraw. He ends up winning the race. So there was definitely passing, in the feature. The balls that these guys, especially up in that top dozen, I mean, everyone, but don't get me wrong, but that top dozen cars that were there, the balls that they had to have to make some of these moves is just one reason why I love Selinsgrove. But it was fast, but it was still wide. There's still more than one. There was one lane in the feature, more than one lane in the feature. And it was fun. I think Dirt Station has the highlights up. You could see there's times where the top 4 or 5 are under a blanket, just battling each other. It was a great race. Brent charges through. So first, Danny has the lead, and they're getting in the lap traffic. And I don't know if he got into the back of somebody or just got on the binders to knock it into the back of somebody. Ends up looping it in turn 2. Has to go back. Sure, he wasn't happy. And that really shook things up. Hold on. Looks like we're having issues with one of our streams. It might be Facebook. Hey, if you guys are watching us on Facebook, throw a comment in there. Make sure we're still good because I'm getting error messages here. But they after Danny spins and they restart, you had Dylan Sisney was leading. Peck, Borden.
Brendan inherited the lead on that, didn't he?
No, Sisney had the lead.
I'm pretty sure Brent had passed Sisney at that point.
Really?
Brent had just got the second. Yeah, he inherited the lead in that. He had just gotten a second, got by Sisney the lap before that, I want to say, and he led to the break.
Okay, that makes sense.
Around, no, maybe I'm not. Maybe you're right, Jimmy, because there was a red flag and I saw Brent come around. Was there a red flag before? Yeah, there was a red flag before the stop. So you might be right.
There was a red flag for, I think, Bishop flipped. And then they only had a few laps until the break from there.
Yeah. Either way, Danny kind of whatever happened there, and it put Brent basically got the lead into half. And I was standing exit of 4, and Brent was absolutely ripping. And the cars that he passed to get to the front weren't any slouches at Selinsgrove. Devin Borden, Justin Peck, Dylan Sisney. And the moves that he was making, like the sliders in 1, the sliders in 3 and 4, were wild. Like, I'm like, I was leaning back like, oh my God, this, like, the suddenness of the entry to turn 1 when a car in front of him was going to go to the top middle, and he would just dive bomb to the bottom and clear by a mile and then still come off of 2 with enough momentum. His car, Devin Borden put a half lap on Brent in the heat. And I was like, oh, okay, that just didn't look fast. And Brian Brown was running Brent down a little bit. To run anybody down in a heat that's pretty wide open is something, either for the car that's slower or the car that's faster. It means something because of dirty air. So when he took off in the feature like that, like a rocket ship, I was like, well, they found something, because it was a totally different car. And it was, and it stayed fast. Like, nobody had anything for him. I'm not even sure Danny gets to second that he has anything for Brent. And Danny came back through the field for a really good finish. If Danny stays in the lead, I'm not sure he holds Brent off. That's how fast it looked to me. Even I'm a fan, but he was absolutely just visibly faster than other guys.
Yeah, he was. It was like a blanket behind him between Sisney, Peck, Borden, Brown. Obviously, Danny was in there.
Yeah.
Heimbach was starting to poke his nose in there a little bit. It was really good racing throughout the field. Side by side, slide jobs galore. After the break at halfway, where they got to change tires and fuel and everything, it looked like Borden and Peck were starting to catch Brent a little bit in lap traffic. Like they were all in the same corner at one point. Brent had a hell of a time getting around Joey Amantia, and he did. And then it came to Borden and Peck trying to get around. And Borden and Peck are really close at this point behind Amantia. And in the middle of 1 and 2, Amantia's, I swear to God, is completely sideways in front of Borden, and he had to check up. Peck was able to get around both of them, and then they're battling, and then Amatia passes them and then is racing them, which I understand, you're racing for position. Amatia actually ends up getting hard charger. But I mean, when you're almost wrecking and the leader just passed you and there's second and third, that helped Brent just check out. Brent was faster, obviously, but he checked out then. He was like half a track ahead. But then it was a really big battle between second and sixth. And Danny ended up recharging back up and finishing third, and Peck finished second. So really good race. I was really happy. It was a good turnout, good car count. Everything worked out really well for Selinsgrove. Obviously Sunday ended up getting axed because of rain on Sunday, which was a bummer. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later, but yeah, just I thought it was a great race. 26,000, or it ended up being 28.6 for Brent to win because he led. There's a $2,600 lap 22 halfway break bonus. There's a bunch of money up for grabs. There was $1,200 split between the 3 heats for heat race winners. Quick time, hard charger, a lot of money up for grabs. So that was cool. Rutherford had Mark Smith at Selinsgrove, and he was running pretty decent. He was around top 10 ish.
So who he had an issue with?
Well, he had a flat tire.
Yeah, he had to pull off towards the end.
Yeah, and then he pulled off, I think. So I'm not sure who. I don't know. I don't think Ron was at Selinsgrove, so I'm not sure what the issue was, unless Mark had an issue and Ron posted. But I'd have to find out. I think shout out here. Let me see if I can find it. See what position it was. I think 8th. Ryan Taylor had a top 10. Was he 8th?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Taylor finished 8th in that race. That's a huge. I mean, Blaine Heimbach behind him was Blaine Heimbach, Chase Dietz, Lucas Wolf, Mark Smith, Jeff Halligan. So Ryan Taylor with a great top 10 finish there. So
yeah, Chase Dietz was in the redraw. He was really fast. He timed second quick overall. And he looked good. He was up there. I think he started
Chase,
third or fourth.
I mean, redraw definitely got it. I'm not sure exactly where,
but he looked good. Once they got battling, like I said, it was between the leader could kind of check out and get through lap traffic, and from second to 12th, it was just a battle, a battle. Amanda said they opened the infield for fans too to sit, which was great. I loved it. I loved sitting in the infield over there. I was very happy about that. It was a good crowd. It was a good crowd. Good field, and congratulations to Brent on a big payday. And shout out to Selinsgrove for doing. They're is that the highest paying unsanctioned race, or definitely top 3?
Babs is going to take it if they get that November show in. Because the total price for Babs in November is 86,000 or something. Winners shared 25.
Well, didn't Dream Race have $100,000? Oh no, that was across all divisions.
And also, I guess if you want to count the Eldora $1 million, but
yeah, that's a lot of money. That's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
But, 305s. Kenny Hefner. Gotta have Kenny on the show sometime. He'd be a fun one to talk to. Kenny Hefner leads, gets the redraw, gets the pole, leads every lap. It wasn't unchallenged. Definitely some guys got to him there for a minute. Ken Duke was there. Cruz Kepner is actually really fast the last 3 laps. Got the second, ran him down. Logan Spar was up there for sure. He finished 5th. Was coming a little bit faded at the end a little bit there, but that was a good race as well. Even though Kenny led every lap, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy by any means. And then I stayed for the Roadrunners because I was committed at that point. And the black 7 that runs up there all the time, threw a massive slider in 3 and 4 coming to the white and ends up winning it. Beats Godwin, I believe, the red 33 that runs at Baps. Ended up beating him with basically a last lap pass into 1 after I'm telling you, I don't know if I've seen too many sliders at a big track that big from a street stock type car. It was pretty cool. I was like, he's sending this thing, and because I don't think he had to. I think he was faster, but it was fun to watch. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I left after the 410 feature. It was about 12:30 at that point, and knowing that I didn't think that Sunday was going to get canceled, I'm like, I got to be back here in like 12 hours basically. So I'm like,
I got home at like 20 after 3 maybe. I made one stop so I didn't fall asleep. But yeah, I think I walked out of there at 1:45 ish. I want to say. I mean, at that point, I was like, I'm here. I'm just gonna watch and.
Yeah, and usually we'd be dragging a track, and if you want to criticize a track, sure, but I think they did the right thing by delaying it and letting everybody get there.
Absolutely.
That
was
it was a necessary evil to be there late.
They did everything. I mean, I don't think they screwed around too long. There was a couple little things I would have been maybe picky on because I was tired and like it's getting late. But overall, with the way they ran that and having a break in the middle, like when they had the break in the middle of that race, they let the crews bring their pit carts out on the track and park them while they were still pacing under yellow. When have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
A racetrack allowed all the crews and pit carts to come out on the track at the very infield fence on the front stretch, right? While they're still pacing under yellow. All the cars. I was like, oh, that's aggressive. I was like, all right, okay, let's go. They're trying to make this as efficient as possible. I think they did a good job. And I think they learned a lot too. I mean, I think that was a different style of program they haven't done before that way. So that was pretty cool of them to do it. So
yeah. We would have been there way longer if they had not moved that late model. There was supposed to be super late models, $5,000 to win. I can't remember the name of the race is slipping my mind, but they end up rescheduling it to next Saturday, which I know late model teams and fans weren't very happy because they were looking forward to it. But now they get their whole own night if the weather holds up. But we would have been there till 3 a.m. and Jay-Z would still be driving home right now.
Yes, I would have just stayed in Selinsgrove. The Ron Keister Memorial. I want to say super late models. I don't know that name. They're going to do super late models and limited late models and IMC modifieds and wingless super sportsmen.
Yes.
So if you want to be there for 1 a.m. again, go to Selinsgrove next weekend.
I don't know if it'll be there till 1 a.m., but maybe it depends on how many cars they get.
Yeah.
Sunday got canceled. They made the call early, which I thought was a good move. Because in the day before and even in the morning, like looking at depending on what weather app you look, they're like, maybe a spotty shower here and there. And then as we got closer to late morning, it's like it's gonna rain all day, right. And they made the call around like 11:30. Unfortunately, the 358, 360 National Open gets canceled completely, no reschedule. Because I think you got to remember too, this was their last weekend. This race that they scheduled for next week was never supposed to happen. So this was going to be their closing weekend for the track. So good on them for at least extending it and getting what they can. Sucks for the 360s, 358s, but they wouldn't be able to do next Saturday with BAPS running. And then I don't think Sunday was really an option. And then you're not going to get another. They're not going to have another weekend here from here until after Port Royal, if anything.
Yeah, really not even until the end of October because between Lincoln's big race,
that's true.
Short Track Super Series is at Port.
Yeah. So, by that time, you have some of these teams with, shutting down already. So, sucks, but good move. They did announce that next year's 360 National Open, which is, one of their bigger races, is now $10,000 to win. So that should be interesting to keep an eye on next year. A $10,000 to win 360, 358 race. Pretty cool. They got some good things going on there. I think overall decent first season for that promotion team under new direction here. They definitely think they learned a lot of things. Hopefully they, move forward with it. And if you go on Hose Heads, there's some rumors going around on what they're planning on doing with that facility. And I'm mostly for it all, grandstands, moving the cart track from the infield, maybe lower reconfiguration, stuff like that. The post is there somewhere in Hose Heads' forums. I don't know how true it is. Like I said, it's just a rumor, but I will say that it's much needed. That track, that whole facility needs some updating. It's good to see if they are going to invest in it. I think all those things that were mentioned were great ways to start. Yeah, so that takes care of the weekend. Anything else from this weekend that
Not locally.
results wise?
Not locally. I know I saw a couple comments here. The Ron Rutherford and what he did this weekend,
Yes.
and sort of giving back, and got a lot of people in the industry involved in it. It was awesome. It just shows what some effort can do. It shows what, if you really give a damn and you really want to, you can do it without spending tons of money,
Yep.
and get people involved. So shout out Ron and his whole team, whoever put all that together. I'm sure that wasn't easy to
It was
coordinate.
was it like a dozen families or something like that?
It ended up
it's
being
been
22 for
Damn.
Williamsgrove.
and Lincoln had some, and then there's some for BAPS this weekend.
Yeah, doing some film for Baps.
So, shout out Ron Rutherford. If you have not been to Mama's Pizza in Wellsville, you're an idiot. Because at this point, it's no longer a secret. And what the hell are you waiting for? Go support Ron, because he absolutely supports racing. He supported racing before he was a car owner. He's now a car owner around here. His son races. He has multiple cars. He has in different divisions. You know, Ron, the one he loves the sport. He's involved. He puts up. So shout out Ron for sure.
The one thing I really remember about that always sticks out to me about Ron was when Brent won the National Open. I went down to Victory Lane when Brett there, and all I heard was Ron goes, "You know where he ate today? Mama's Pizza." He kept saying that. Like that always stuck in my mind. I'll never forget that. It was hilarious.
Well, there was a time where like everybody that ate there would end up winning. There was like a stretch of time where like, I would imagine a lot of people were eating there, but there was a stretch of time at like the Grove or other places, when Outlaws are in town or something, about they would go there and then eat, and then they'd win. Outlaws included, which is unfortunate, Ron, that you serve the Outlaws. But I get it. I get it. You're a man of the people. I get it. But anyway, no, that was cool.
With that, Selinsgrove had something similar. I think with
Karkland. Karkland. They organized something. I don't know exactly the numbers there. I'd have to go back and look at the social media posts. But it's cool. I like the movement. To me, it is a little sad that that's what it's going to take to get some people to the track. But it's a great thing. It's if that is what it takes to get people to the track, so be it. But
you can only hope that the right people are paying attention and the success that it had and how to do this, because maybe there's some creativity that they're not getting, and hopefully this gets the creative juices flowing for some of these tracks and figure it out.
Jay-Z, I don't know if you watched last week, but the word of the show last week was promotion.
Promotion. I had to learn how to say it because I never heard of it before.
And Ron took that by the horns and ran with it. And to see the teams look at some of the people that I know helped Ron, the Strickler family, Key Motorsports, and they've helped us a lot of stuff throughout this year. So It's not just the big teams. Danny threw in some shirts and did some stuff too, which is so cool. That experience is what's going to get people coming back. Those 22 families did not get to eat and got in for free. They got a whole experience with it.
Exactly. I think that was the coolest thing. It wasn't just, hey, here's 4 tickets to the race. It's you got a pizza, you got T-shirt, you got this, you got that.
We're all doing it together.
Yeah,
we're hanging
all
out.
of it together. Oh, come down to the pits and meet your driver. That type of stuff. That was cool. So
something that Ashley Capetta talked about in the comments last week, and she's pushing for the Sterner race at open pits 4 to 5. It makes me want to go and take my daughter there. She's in the Lincoln, but we don't get to go to pits often because it's late and she's tapped out. But go there before the race, she can see the cars up close, get all pumped, and then watch the race and go on our way.
Yep. Selinsgrove did it. They had it open before the 410 race, and they got to actually kind of open it a little bit longer because of the delay. So there's Ashley right there. In the
second time tonight I summoned people.
Yeah, so I will say this about the Sterner. Ashley's put a lot of time and effort into this, her own time and effort to make this event an event. And that Sterner race is always one that I've always attended. It's been different times throughout the year, throughout the season, like months. This year it ends up late, and it's going to be a fantastic show. And if you haven't been to Lincoln Speedway, or you were debating if I'm going to go to Lincoln or go somewhere else that weekend or do something else, go to Lincoln Speedway and watch a race. I don't care who wins. I don't care who fights. I don't care how much beer you drink or don't drink or what you do, but go to Lincoln Speedway that night. Show them that this shit works.
Yes.
Like, go to the racetrack and show that this promoting thing idea, like, oh my God, there's a reason for us to go to the track on top of a race. There's something happening. Go to the racetrack, figure it out, get there. That's what I got.
No, I agree.
Can't be more matter of fact than that. Get your ass to the racetrack.
And listen, season's winding down really quick. Like, I felt like about a couple weeks ago, I'm like, oh, the season's just starting to get into a rhythm.
Yeah,
right around Speed Week, and now it's like it's over almost. Yeah. Like, there's only a handful of races left until we're sitting around for the winter.
Well, some long weekends left, but it's not that many races. Like, there's some long hours at a racetrack coming up for sure. Yeah. I got to talk to my wife and figure out where I'm camping again, because I didn't love the camping idea, but I love the camping idea of not driving back and forth multiple days in a row. So I don't know. Do I camp out next weekend? Natty Open weekend.
Natty Open.
And then the next weekend I camp again at Port.
That sounds like such a Jimmy thing to do.
Seems like a lot.
I mean, I'm going to do it. So the only thing is we're going to get into the rescheduled Tusky 50. I don't know if I'm going to.
Holy smokes!
Ooh, that's
100
all we got to do is mention names, and they're just popping in here. Let's go.
100 tickets for Saturday.
Ron Rutherford saying we're giving away 100 tickets to BAPS this Saturday as well. We need fans in the stands, not only for the tracks, but for our sponsors, and that's great.
I mean, yeah, that's what makes it go round, right? Mm-hmm. Fans in the stands, paying the ticket to the track. Track is healthy. That means if fans are showing up, sponsors want to put their name on race cars and or tracks.
Yes.
Sponsors make everything go. Sponsors make the cars go. Sponsors help the track go around and put on better shows.
Make the purse go up. Could maybe make the ticket prices not go up. I think that's a reason why Williams Grove doesn't raise their price sometimes. Like, the other Breaches races have always been cheaper for whatever reason. So I'm sure that's correlation there.
100%.
That's 100 tickets is.
I intend on finding these people Saturday if we don't get rained out.
Yeah, I hope you guys go Saturday. I can't.
I will be
for the country, so you guys need to make sure you're going.
I probably jinxed this race when I said I was going hell or high water, and now I look at the weather report.
And you're gonna have high water.
It's 91%. Because I was excited to go see 410s there, always a good time, and the Super Sportsmans are like my little side hustle now. So
is the rain date Sunday though? Do they have a rain date?
Let me look it up.
I hope it does, because Sunday looks okay. As of now, we'll see.
That's fine. Sunday's just as good for me.
Kiri Lehman, driven to save lives and driver/cornhole tournament. 10-7 at Port Royal. I'm involved with and helping with this event. Donations are appreciated. Super fun event, and all proceeds go to a great cause. Support all of these end of the year events if you can. Couldn't say it better than this. We did one of those cornhole tournaments.
Flashback.
Absolutely. We got smoked by an 11-year-old. So it was okay. I know The money went to good stuff and
It's
everything.
funnier
But
every time you
me and
say
Chris
11-year-old.
suck. So
It's funnier every time I hear it.
Absolutely dismantled. We looked so bad. We should have went back to middle school to learn how to play cornhole.
I wish I was there to see it. I really do.
I'm glad no one came with us. The whole camp's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're not going down to watch that. We're like, oh, you
they
guys
got it
suck.
was double elimination.
No, we were so bad to the first game. We should have just quit.
Yeah, definitely check that out though at Port Royal. I guess that's where we want to go next. Obviously, well, let's finish talking about BAPS because
I don't
BAPS.
see a rain date on that, but doesn't mean there isn't one. But I don't see one.
I would like, if they can't get it in on Saturday, I'd hope they would be able to try it on Sunday.
410 Super Sportsmen's.
Yeah, if the weather's nice, I'll try to get there. I have some business to take care of in Hazel Tone, but
if it gets moved to Sunday night, my flight lands at 3 in Baltimore Sunday.
Isn't it on your way home anyway?
No, it's past my house, but it's not that far past.
It's close enough that he could save us traffic for 4 hours.
BWI to BAPS. I'm in. Like, let's go. I can get there. I can get there.
Wait, do the Ravens play on Sunday in Baltimore?
I hope not.
That would suck.
Actually, if I land at 3 though, they're at the game still. So
it's true.
If they have a 1 o'clock game.
1 o'clock game will be over before. I land at 3. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really go. I'm not going downtown. We're okay. 695, 90.
It'll be all right.
You know what? I'll figure it out. Okay.
Well, I had the same because Brielle's in Green Bay, and I'm like, I hope the Packers don't have a home game. That would be brutal for you to land in. But they were in Atlanta, so.
Anyway.
Anywho. So BAPS, get there on Saturday. Even if it rains, I'm sure they're going to have stuff going on, and you could still tailgate and have a good time. Chris might be there. Chris will definitely be there.
I will be there.
Chris will definitely be there.
Yeah, he's there. He's going for the Super Sportsman.
He's also going to have Turn 2 Terrible shirts.
We'll have them.
Wait,
they are packed. They are packed and sorted.
We finally got them. He's got them sorted. Good job, Chris.
Did my best.
T-shirts. Let's go,
Chris. The only thing I could do productively last night watching the Patriots get smacked. So.
Not much to watch on the actual television.
So what we'll probably do is we'll probably have these shirts at a lot of these big events here throughout the end of the season, and then after we'll put up. If you want one, make sure you can Facebook message us.
I have no idea why anybody would want one, but we're gonna have some.
Why not?
So if you want a shirt with our goofy ass name on it, we're gonna have
somebody. Somebody wanted our banner. Why would I want our shirt?
Yeah, somebody wanted our banner bad enough. So
we wanted our banner at Port. So yeah, that's. You know what? Why you got to bring it up again? Why?
It's the right time.
You're gonna make me mad all over again.
Well, we're gonna segue right into the Tuscarora 50.
We're gonna go right into the Tusky anyway. Reschedule Tusky 50 to Thursday of the Port Royal show, or the Outlaw show at Port Royal.
Get a man.
What's the date? Is it the 7th or the 6th?
The what?
50?
The 50 or the 5th? Is it the 5th?
Thursday
the 5th. Thursday the 5th. The social media when they announced this, went absolutely bonkers.
I wish I clipped some of them so you could put them up. Because I want their names on the screen. Like this is if anybody watches or listens to the podcast, What an Idiot from Door Bumper Clear. The podcast is Door Bumper Clear. It's a NASCAR podcast, but What an Idiot is that entire thread of Port Royal's rescheduled date. Yes. That thread is the definition of what an idiot.
There was, and I should have got some pictures put up. That's my bad. Justin Snyder was in those comments, and he put a pretty long, explanation of why this date. And it's still All-Star Circuit of Champions, by the way. It's not World of Outlaws. It's still All-Stars. And that was one of the points. All-Stars all season long. It's not just, obviously more around the run-up to Tusky 50, but all season long, they help promote this event. This is one of their biggest races of the season for that group.
Yeah, I think they said it is the biggest race.
But it's the biggest paying, and it's a huge event, and you want to give, because everybody just said as soon as it got rained out, just make it an outlaw show. Well, you still want to give the All-Stars a chance. It's already show up points anyway, so points aren't really a thing.
Right.
So I think they did the right thing here. I was hoping kind of maybe the Thursday of the National Open, but just in case that were to get rained out, and then you have that following Thursday. But then they're going to have that Sunday if it gets rained out. So they have some shots here. I think it's a good move. You're going to have a lot of cars in. Tanner Holmes today just announced that they're going to skip Lernerville High Limit and now run the Tusky 50. You're going to have other hitters in, like probably Rico Abreu, Buddy Kofoid, obviously the All-Stars, all of their local guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
Booster
not
Racing.
a lot of the country is done, right? There's a lot of the country that's done, and I don't know the schedules out west, but a lot of the country is done, and they're already going to be in the town for Natty Open. This is that time of the year where, like, okay, what's left?
PA is
So
the center of sprint car racing at this time of year.
Sprint car
February and
capital
October. That makes a lot of fucking sense, doesn't it? Yeah. But yeah, no, they did the right thing. It's the right decision. It's the right way to do it if they're going to have it. Because reading the thread, it made it sound like they're penalizing fans, and the fans are like, oh my god. They could have just said F you and said we're done. We're not even going to run it this year. Like, there could be no race. Right?
Yeah.
Someone in the comments, I swear to God, it said, I burned my vacation time for the original date. What do I do now?
What do you want? It
you
rained.
mean it rained?
You are always going to have to do that.
It rained. Oh my God. What are you going to do? You're going to lose your life. You're going to move along with your life. I promise you it goes on the next day. Like, you can watch it on Flow. You could, I don't know, put Facebook down and move along with your life. Like, yeah, we get it that you may not be able to make the new date and you're disappointed, but
that's not Port's fault.
Think that the track did something wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Blows my mind.
And listen, if you can't make it in, I'm pretty sure you could go and send in your wristband and get your money back.
You're not even out the money, and you probably camped all weekend anyway. You were gonna anyway, so now you camped all weekend. You paid for that, so you got that experience. You can send your ticket back in, your thing back in, get all your money back for that, and go to work that day. Yeah. It'll be okay. I promise.
I just I was baffled. I understand, like, it's not the perfect date. And Chris kept saying it last week. The perfect date was the date it was originally scheduled on. That was the perfect date for the Tusky 50, and you lost it. You know what I mean? It's just,
and it's not June anymore, where there's just open dates the rest of the season.
Right. I mean, you're running out of time here, and you only have so much. And it sucks that it's a Thursday, but you know, and another thing that, and it didn't even register in my mind, Packers Concession, huge sponsor there. They do all the food there at the track, pretty much, like all the concession stands, all Packers. You know where they're going to be at? They're going to be down the road from me all next week for 8-9 days at Bloomsburg Fair. So you wouldn't be, they're not going to be able to have anybody to go to Port Royal and have any concessions, stuff like that, like stuff that nobody thinks of. And it's like, that makes perfect sense, because then if you had the 50 and then none of the concession stands are open. What is this? You know what I mean? It's like you can't please everybody.
Hey, side note, how loud are all the generators combined at the Bloomsburg Fair? Does that go against the ordinance?
So shout out George Wood. We're talking at Selinsgrove on Saturday, and I think we're going to do a Turn 2 Terrible special where we walk around Bloomsburg Fair with a sound meter, and we start measuring the sound there and see how loud it really is. I know the fair is exempt, but let's see.
It shouldn't
be how loud it is.
Exempt.
I don't want to get into it.
Now who's trying to serve somebody up?
Noise is noise, right?
Noise is noise. But everybody from this town is there at the fair, so that's okay then. And all those people that complain, they get to charge money to park on their lawns. So anyway,
if only they had a racetrack at big events they could charge money to park on their lawns for.
Anyway, sticking on the topic of Port Royal, so like those are the type of things that like Justin was saying, and like it makes all sense, and you want to stay loyal to All Stars, just all sorts of things that most people don't. They're all tunnel visioned on one thing, and they got 15,000 things that they got to try to make right.
I think it was a genius move by Port to put it and make basically a second event out of that event because now you have people coming in for the 50. Just stay all weekend in camp and
You just
have
made the
another
50
great
probably
weekend.
bigger.
Oh, probably. Like, yeah. And honestly, like, there's definitely people that were that weekend at the 50 that were at the fair and that weren't going to the race. There's some. So there's parking. But now, if you're in town, you're going to the race, and it just creates more room for race fans. Not that the fair is a problem, but they're parking all over the town of Port Royal during the fair week. And if you're not camping and you get there late, like you could have walked a long way to
It's
watch
true.
the 50 if you're being there for the 50. Now that this is kind of this way, it is a race weekend, period.
Yeah,
Like
just
it's
racing.
it's only racing. So it couldn't have worked out better. I'm glad they were able to do it because they could have scrapped it completely. So I'm glad they got all the logistics figured out. The teams are around. They can make it work with the sanctioning body. Pretty cool.
Ampe, yes, they are allowed to camp, and camping is free
For the 50.
for the 5th. I'm pretty sure all weekend, dude.
So they're camping while school's going on,
But
or do they close,
yeah,
I hope
school?
hoping they close school.
Because
They might actually though, because that's whatever they call that Indigenous People Day or Columbus Day is that weekend. It was that Monday, so they might make
I
it an
doubt
in-service day.
Friday.
Why not?
Well, if they're open Friday, we have to tell our friend Steel City Seaman he's not allowed because he's not allowed near elementary school. We have to tell him he can't come on Thursday.
I don't even know if that's. I don't even know if
He's
that's
watching. We said his name. He's gonna be in here any minute.
Do they even use that school though? Because we were asked that question.
Not that school. No.
Who doesn't? It's empty.
It's down. It's down. The school's down now. Down on that detour. I'm pointing.
The building is not a school. It doesn't get used as a school.
It's not used as.
It didn't look like a school when we walked past it.
Oh, then well, we're good, man. He can come party with us.
Yeah,
Thursday.
Absolutely.
I don't want
my plan is for that is I'm definitely gonna camp Friday and Saturday. Probably leave work early Thursday, go to the 50, go to work Friday. I tried the whole camping and then leaving early to go to work on Friday before, for Thursday or Friday.
What happened
Friday last year?
What happened that time?
It didn't work very well. I left at like 3:00 in the morning, got like an hour of sleep, went to work, came back. It was.
I don't really know why you did that to yourself.
And the only reason I was up was because
No.
of Chris. So
it wasn't just me.
He had,
I had an accomplice.
Just up till 3:00 in the morning, playing the same song over and over.
Sounds
over and over and over. Anyway, so yeah, it's I think it was the perfect date. Good for them to try to stick with the All Stars. I think they made the 50 a bigger event than what it was originally was going to be. Bigger race at least. And I did think it was interesting because as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, most of those outlaw teams have one race left that they can use. They were mostly going to use it for Lernerville because it was $50,000 to win. Maybe some of them now punt Lernerville and now go to Port Royal. And like I said, Tanner Holmes was one of them. And I wouldn't doubt if you see a couple more.
Is that Lernerville race a Tuesday like the rest have been?
Yeah.
So it's
It's Tuesday before National Open. So next Tuesday.
If you're an outlaw team and you have the equipment, you're doing all of it. Well, you can't then, I guess, right? You're just saying that's
the problem. They're down to one race and they all banked it for Lernerville, and now they have a choice to make.
Which, if it was the old rules, they would have been able to run next Thursday because it's a Port Royal track. Or Port Royal, Jesus Christ. A World of Outlaw track. Now they got rid of all that, but I don't know. I think we see a couple more, maybe. I think somebody was throwing around like Baston, maybe.
But it makes a lot of sense for Tanner Holmes to come in and run Port with his lack of experience at Port, and they're about to run a weekend at Port. Lernerville is money only to win, right? There's still points and there's still things that matter at Port for the weekend. So for him, that just makes a lot of sense as a team. Number one, they're closer to home base. Number two, his lack of experience at Port Royal gives him an extra night. So it actually makes a lot of sense as a team.
Yeah. I mean, but it is $10,000 more to win than the high limit race. So, it's a big enough chunk of change to maybe change, at least for some of these teams to question it at the very least. So,
Agreed.
We'll see, but I definitely think you're going to see like a Buddy Kofoid, maybe like Casey Kane, because I don't even know if
I would
he's
think of Brad Sweet, but
You think
think about
Casey
it, right?
maybe
would
nah,
you think
because
Casey
high
would
limit, man.
leave high limit
Right.
Brad Sweet
But
would
Brad
leave high
Sweet
limit
doesn't.
run
But he
for?
doesn't. He hasn't been racing high limit. He's been officiating it, and
Who?
He
Casey
ran the
Kane?
first one.
No, I'm
Right.
talking about Casey Kane.
Casey King can do whatever he wants. He's gonna run them all.
I know,
Yeah.
but do you think he would leave supporting Brad at Lernerville to run
No,
Ford?
I think
don't.
he's the guy that runs
He
them
could.
both.
Yeah, he could run both.
That's
I think
true.
because he hasn't. He's not. He just
He's
does
not
whatever he wants
committed.
now.
You're right. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, Lernerville's Brad's last race of his 4, and I don't think he would. I think that would go against him being the promoter of his own series,
Right.
to not show up to their biggest race.
Wait, he's going to race Lernerville?
Yeah.
What Ashley said.
I think you're going to see almost all the outlaws. Like you're going to have Donnie, Sheldon, Gravel, almost all of them. So
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know.
I bet we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yep.
Crazy. That's how that works.
And this is the weekend after another race, right?
it's after some other. I don't even know.
What?
Some other track, the bridge.
The worst Grove.
I think he meant Bridgeport.
No,
Lernerville's before National Open.
Bridgeport hasn't even, they're not even open, are they?
Bridgeport is so it goes Lernerville, National Open, Bridgeport that following Tuesday, and then Thursday through Saturday, Tusky 50 and Outlaws at Port. You get the whole week of Port. So,
Right.
Bridgeport's not as much to win, but you'll still see. Do we see Kyle Larson run that Thursday for the 50? He's going to be at Bridgeport Tuesday. Probably doesn't have to do anything till Saturday for NASCAR. Probably see somebody like him, maybe like a.
Guess you'll have to wait and see.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Don't announce it ahead of time if he is. Don't do that.
Don't even say his name. In fact, you have to pay him just for saying his name.
Oh yeah, I shouldn't have said his name because
he might
now
pop
we're gonna get a bill in the mail.
Yeah, we're gonna get some malware in our inbox.
What's next?
So we'll see. I think it was a good move, and fuck the haters. All these big people bitching, just need something to bitch. That's my take.
All right, what else, Jimmy? What else are we gonna talk about?
I guess pick your. I don't know. I think it was it. Other than previewing
Are we doing a true Natty Open preview here? Or are we gonna do another show?
I think we would wait till next week.
Next week we could talk Lernerville and Natty Open.
Yeah.
Next week.
I think we'll see. You do got Outlaw Tune Up this upcoming Friday though, so I think we'll probably get maybe a little bit of a better idea. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the weather says no to
An
that
idea
too.
of what 22 cars maybe instead of 19?
Hey, they got 25 this past weekend.
Oh.
25. They had a full field.
He's not baiting me into nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
How many do you think, Chris?
I'm not going to disparage any drivers, but some of the teams
15.
that showed up.
Dude, that one guy, I don't even want to say his name. He'll pop in here. He drives a Babs all the time. Take my fella.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got that Friday. We got BAPS Saturday. Hopefully weather cooperates.
Kevin
I know it's not
Gilbert
looking
Classic.
$10,000 to win.
Yes.
And Super Sportsman's.
Super Sportsman.
And something else too, right?
Isn't it like
crate? Is it 62 crates?
Don't say that. Don't ruin it.
What do you mean ruin it? I'm not ruining anything. Hold on. Where is it? Classic cut. Nope.
I thought it was just 2 divisions.
Thought I just read that it was more than that. Did you see the shit about late models refusing tech at BAPS this weekend?
Yeah, I saw that. That was wild.
Does anybody know anything more about that? If there's anyone in the comments that knows more about this situation, I would love for y'all to chime in. We can actually talk late models for a minute if someone knows. Yeah. I would love to know why and what's the deal. I read somewhere that I guess the team said the $700 to put it all back together, the race win was worth $800. So why would I fucking do that?
Basically, that's what I read too.
They tear motors apart or some shit?
They were doing a full tech.
Jesus.
So, I'd be curious to find more out and actually a real story about it. I don't care if it's the tracks version or a driver's version. I'd like to know more versus what I read on the internet, kind of thing. I don't want to speculate, but
I mean, usually they just check like droop and one or two other things.
I don't know if they were protested or something.
They just refused tech. That's all I said. That's all I heard.
Right.
Top two.
That's all I read.
Top two cars. So, I believe. So I'd be curious to know, and like, I hope it's not the money thing, because if you're running a limited late model at BATS, are you really making money to begin with? So, like, take your win and your trophy and get teched. Chill out, bro. A little bit. Like, I don't know the guy. I don't know who it was, and I don't know their financial situation. So I could be speaking out of pocket, but that seems a little like, I don't know. There has to be more to it. That's why I want to. Hopefully, if someone
would like to find that out.
That knows more, I would love to hear the story, and we can bring it back up next week if we get the scoop.
We know a guy that probably will. Tony Sharp, where's he at?
Tony might know. Maybe something else that we could touch on that we didn't last week was Justin Henderson in the 69K for an interesting batch of races.
Classic cars are with a sportsman.
Classic cars.
Saturday. Classic cars. By the way, did you see the classic car winner Babson this past Saturday? Looked like Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was the perfect driver for that win. Like, go look at that car and go look at the driver standing there. His kid, long hair. It was amazing. Anyway, sorry. Justin Henderson, 69K. Let's talk about
69K. They're running. They're going to go to World Finals down in Charlotte. They're running 2 BAPS shows, I believe.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Cool to see him. Henderson, he ran some races when Kreitz was dealing with health issues in the car. So it's cool to see him back in it a little bit. I thought it was interesting that they're going to go to the World Finals with him, but what do we think? I don't really have too much of an opinion.
Right.
I think they're just there to have fun.
Like, they're doing whatever. I don't know if it's even anything.
Henderson's doing the Cerner race. There we go. In the 69K.
I don't know if it's a test drive for next year, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
interesting.
I don't know too many of the details, but we've seen Justin Henderson in PA country. He has a lot of ties to this area, to Posse country, and cool to see him get an opportunity. I hope he does well, and I hope if he does well, it's a springboard for something for next year for him. He's bounced around in different rides over the years. Been steady for a long time, younger, but I feel like every year he's in maybe something a little different. And it's not super full time. So if he puts in a good showing and good equipment, and hopefully it's a springboard for him for 2024, whatever it may be. I don't know anything about anything in that regard, but it's a good opportunity for him for sure.
It'd be interesting to see.
I think it's one good thing I thought about, though. It's breaking the Weiss 69K. You don't see them as one anymore, and I don't know. It's going back to being the Kreitz car.
For sure. Yeah.
And it's like, that's cool in its own way.
The 39M is becoming Lance's car.
Stop it.
2023.
Yeah.
Don't start more rumors than are already out there.
Yeah, I can't wait for the silly season. It was already a silly season throughout the season, but I think we're going to see some crazy shit over the winter on who's going to go where. Just stuff out of left field.
Agree. I don't know. I don't know if it gets worse, because I feel like there's already what we kind of know was temporary, right? 39 is temporary. What's going to 69 for next year, if anything. The one, if that leads into next year, but it's already the cars we know have changed. To potentially have more after the season is over, I don't know if there's a ton more that I foresee coming. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like we had so many during the season that it's hard to think that it'll get crazier in the all season. On top above and beyond the cars we already know are unknown for next year.
Mhm.
They're same cars. Nobody's committed to 2024 on anything. So we're going to see the movement there, or some news come out of those same things we've already heard. To have it be more teams, I don't know. I don't know if there will be that many. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Anything else? It's starting to get I don't want to say bottom of the barrel, but it's starting to get thinner as we get towards the off season here. There's only, the things that we have to talk about are big, but there's only.
Well, you know what that means then. Interview season is back.
Yes.
Who wants to come on, turn two terribles, and
Yes.
chat with us three idiots?
Yeah, we're gonna hit that hard this off season for sure.
Yeah, reach out to us. We definitely have got to know a lot of the drivers. I wouldn't mind going into late models and branching out a little bit. I don't have a ton of contacts in that world. I have some for sure, but if you're out there and you want to come on and chat racing with us idiots, hit us up on the Facebook page, DM us, and
absolutely
we'll get you on the show.
Bring in new people. It would be cool even to have maybe some past guests on to break down their season a little bit. Maybe immediately after the season, we could maybe try to do some of that. I think that would be cool.
Agreed.
Just stuff like that. We're not going to stop. Maybe we'll take a week or two off or something like that, but we're not going to stop. We're going to keep this train moving and go into 2024.
I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on.
But yeah, again, t-shirts. We'll be at most of these major events here for the rest of the season here in PA. Come find us, hit us up on Facebook, and then we'll try to figure out a way to maybe get them online.
Maybe that might be a project for next year that we hit up if we do well with these. Again, not that we have any expectations, but if we do well, and people for whatever wear our name, we'll work on that more for next year. We've been around, doing this for a year now, and it's not really something we've kind of strived for necessarily. Like, we're just here to have fun and talk some shit. So if y'all enjoy it and we want to keep going, we'll kind of gauge it from what y'all want.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, I think that's it for this week. Get to the track this weekend if the weather is nice and everything's going on. Definitely get to Williamsgrove, get to BAPS. Definitely check out Ron Rutherford. He's giving away 100 tickets, so check that out. Support Mama's Pizza. Support everybody that supports racing. And then, we'll be back next week to preview Lernerville and talk about National Open, which I can't wait.
It's Chris's favorite show of the year. It's going to be Chris is going to be the main host. He's going to run the show.
Yeah, I agree. 358's at Path on Saturday.
Oh,
that was another reason I think that Selinsgrove couldn't schedule it to the 360 Nationals because Path.
If you haven't seen that, that's a show, by the way. So if you live out that way or the weather looks sketchy for BAPS or vice versa,
Path is going to try to run.
Watch the 350. It's Rip at Path. It is. It's fun. Fun show to watch for sure. So anyway, that's it. We out.
But yeah,
we're out.
Okay, thanks guys for tuning